Low Math 2. Gonna do a couple problems as requested by Billy and Mark in the afternoon class. This goes with the U-check that's due tonight on your Google Classroom, the one with the circle and a quadrilateral inside. Okay? So here we have our circle. Here's our quadrilateral, the four-sided blue shape that's inside. The math word for being inside would be inscribed, since all the four corners are touching the circle. Notice the question marks over here, and it matches up to arc YG. We want to be able to find that out. The thing I tried to give a hint to the two boys, to Billy and to Mark, the other day and earlier this morning through Zoom, was that this 96 and the one right across it, they have to add up to 180. So we're going to start doing some calculations off to the side. I'm going to do it by hand since I can't grab a calculator right now. Didn't set up a tripod or anything. So we're going to subtract. We're going to get 84. This one down here should be 84. Going to switch colors. And then I'm going to find the angle that goes across from the 56. Well, across from the 56, I can also do 180 minus 56. I remember that I need to borrow because I can't do 0 minus 6. So I'm going to get a 4. I'm going to get 2 and 1. So this is 124 over here. Now I can start working with my cones and also with my scoops. There's no particular way where you're going to be able to start. I would not start with the scoop. So notice this question mark over here is part of this scoop, right? The cone would be back here at the 56, but the 56 is this part of the scoop and also the question mark. I don't know either one of those, so don't start there. Leave that for at least the second cone scoop combo or the third one. So I'm going to get up one of my colors. Let's start with this 96. Maybe I can do something with that. So notice my 96 is going to trace over the blue, changing it up into green. I'd recommend that you find a color as well. Use those gel pens I gave you or whatever you have at home. So this scoop is going to be this portion plus the 130 over here, right? But we have to figure out, so the 96 is this and this. Well, we know that the 96, since it's skinnier and getting wider over here with the scoop, we have to multiply by 2. So if we multiply by 2, 8, let me just make sure, 12. 6 times 2 is 12, carry the 1, 18, 19, so it should be 192. 192 would be this part right here plus the 130. So if you went to the store with $192 and you spent 130, we want to know what our change would be. That's going to be where the squiggly is at. These cancel, we get 62 right here, right? So I have 62 right there. Now I can jump to the one with the question mark, which is over there. Because notice, I'm going to grab my, let's grab a purple. If I include the arc with the question mark, which is right here, its cone is over here, right? It's inscribed angle because it's off to the edge. As a reminder, I told a couple of you that this U-check that is due tonight comes from lesson 4. So notice our cone goes out to Y, but it hits over here at F. So I have to include the squiggly part, right? Okay, so let's figure out if it has 56 over there, what would it be? What would be the size of the whole arc? The part with the squiggly and the part with just the question mark. Well, 56 times 2 is 12, carry the 1, that's 100, 112. 112, but I've spent 62 degrees right here along the squiggly green and purple part. Right here's the 62, so I need to figure out how much is left for the other one. So we're going to subtract. Remember, you can use your calculator. You have 2 hands at your disposal. I don't at the moment, carrying the phone. Okay, and that'd be 50. So 50 goes right here because 50 is equal to this question mark. Okay. So we're going to do one more problem of these, and then hopefully you can do your U-check in the same manner. So here comes the second problem of our practice problems. For inscribed angles, again, this goes with lesson 4. So I'm going to draw my circle to the best of my ability. Came out all right. In case you're on paper and you're like Erica and you want to know how much space, I would, for all of these types of problems, make sure you're doing 5 to 6 lines. So this circle should be taking up almost half of the page. Okay, almost, a little bit less. Okay, then I'm going to draw my quadrilateral inside, peeking over to my notes. So I'm going to connect it down this way. And then I want to go straight up. And then let's go off to the side. And then right there. Okay. Let's say label the corners. Remember that corners in math are called vertices. One of them is a vertex. The plural is vertices. Vertices. Okay, and the numbers that I was given were this 80. Let me just make sure. I was given this 94 right here. I have a question mark, so this is the angle. I want an angle this time. I am given that this is 128 over here to the right. This arc from S to Z, this minor arc. The minor arc to the top left, RS, is 68. Okay. So with that, we should be able to get that question mark. Again, usually you don't want to jump straight to that question mark. You're going to have to build up until you're able to get there. First things first, let's try to get as many angles inside of the four-sided shape, inside of that quadrilateral. Well, from example 1, we now know that these two have to be 180. Okay, you don't need to know how to prove that. You just need to know how to remember that. It sort of makes sense because if you remember, all 4 angles have to add up to 360. Since the circle's nice and perfectly round, we sort of split that in half. There's other algebra that goes on. We don't need to deal with that. We just need to know how to use it. So we're going to go 180 minus 94. Can't do that. So you need to borrow. You get a 6 and you get 86 up here. This 86 is going to come in handy because now I'm going to do some stuff with an inscribed angle. Remember, inscribed angles. Angles are pointy. Those are our cones. They're off to the edge, not in the center. I'm going to go down. And I'm going to trace along the circle until I get to the other corner. So from Q all the way over to S. Well, if I started with 86, it was skinny and it went off to the side and it got wider. When it gets wider, you know that you're going to use the number 2 by multiplying. So you're going to go times 2. We're going to get 12. That's 16, 17. But notice we've used up some of it over here, right? On this part, we had $172, but we've already spent 128 of those. We want to know what's left over. What's your change? Can't do 2 minus 8. So you're going to borrow 10 from there. I'm going to get 4 and 4. So this is 44 down here. Circle it so it doesn't blend into my work. And then, well, now I think we can deal with that cone. Usually it's on the second step. You could do this a longer way. It just so happens that I'm picking out what would be the shorter way. Remember that all the different sections have to add up to 360. You could also do that. I'm not going to because I want to jump to angle S, which I'm going to color in green. I go along the outside on all of the arc, including that 54, that 44 right here. Let me see if that gives us enough. Actually, it doesn't, not yet. So that would be our third thing that we're going to do. We're going to leave that off. I'm going to go in purple. And this is showing you that if you don't succeed on the first try, just go to the next thing. Because we could jump to the next thing, or I could just do the 360 thing. Let me show you that. So notice so far I have 128. I have 44. Something is missing here. And then the 68 make 360. Let's add all of those up. So I have 68, 128. I have a 44. That's 16 right there, makes 20. That's 10 and 14. 240, I can already tell what it is, but just for the benefit of some of you. If I subtract off 240, I will be able to know that 120 is what goes right here. So I'm going to put that in green. 120 is right here. That way I can still use the green cone. Notice 44 combined with 120. I add those together. I'm going to get 4, 6, 8. I'm going from something that's wide back to the skinny little angle way over there. It's like pulling that rubber band back. To do that, we need to divide this by 2, right? Half of 16 is 8, half of 4 is 2. So that guy up there, so the measure of angle S has to be equal to 82. Okay, hope this helps out. I'll be loading this shortly.